Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring again one vs one this again on Pripyet. Again, a bit of a lack of matches and maps, and of course also exciting matches on those different maps. So that's always the tricky part. You want something interesting, you want something exciting. So today we're having, of course, a 1 vs 1. Also, a quick service note: the beta will end, or the closed beta will end, the 30th of April. And there'll apparently be an open beta sometime later. I hope soon later, after. Anyways, we shall be watching Kromz 34 fighting for the 5th Guards Mechanized Corps. Against him shall be IronRoman, having switched over to the CoH2 beta. It seems like an infamous, reviled, hated by many, IronRoman is here to fight for the Wehrmacht for the 10th Panzer Division. Shall be interesting to see what he does. And he also note he's starting out with a 2 pioneer start. So obviously IronRoman's intent is to secure as much territory as possible, whereas we are seeing a more aggressive start from Kromz with lots of conscripts. Although I mean they cost pretty much the same, combat engineers and conscripts. Though I think combat engineers train a bit faster. By the way, definitely getting out as many troops to take on the fascists initially. And a Grenadier squad coming out there for IronRoman to lead the way for the fatherland. Companies there. Nice spread, although initial hard focus from Kromz towards the center with a single conscript squad being sent southward to secure the resources there. So it looks like Kromz is initially trying to take the fight to the fascists, later on focusing on stuff like, the fuel, which are mirrored in both edges of the map right there. Of course, alongside some of the victory points. Of course, the center, on the other hand, of course, you'll see the high munitions points. So some slight differences there, but advancing for the glory of the Rodina. And IronRoman actually sneaking some pioneers off to some mission on the right side. Could be they might move down there, take a southern route. And we are seeing another Grenadier squad coming out there, and immediately taking about that munitions point right there. Nice move. And also note, barbed wire fields going down right here. Barbed wire fields basically working to slow down enemy movement speed for the infantry. Can also slow down your own if you're not too careful. It can be used sort of in combination with support weapons to really make it difficult for the fascists to move forwards. And IronRoman's wiring off this area. I think he might be trying to apply some sort of Company Views 1 logic, because barbed wire isn't quite as functional in Company Views 2, partly because it's not quite as fast to get up. It takes actually ages. Plus it doesn't always quite, cover things up so neatly, but also because, there's not quite gaps you can cover up in Company Views 2. A lot of people say, we need tank traps, we need barbed wire, and the problem is you'd need a lot more barbed wire. You'd need a lot more tank traps to get the same effect, because a lot of, many choke points and gaps that were in Company Views 1 aren't quite here. The maps are more open. There's still some fountains and stuff, but it's not quite the same way. It also makes for some more interesting gameplay, I would say, because again, it's not quite so much about just blocking off with an MG or some barbed wire or something. It needs a more deeper tactical understanding of the terrain and how to fight in different situations. And meanwhile, initial fight going on here between conscripts holding up behind the shrubbery, and some Grenadiers fighting behind some overturned carts and crates, possibly containing sauerkraut. Another Grenadier squad seems to have moved in. Pioneers and Grenadiers pushing in from the north. He could consider getting some hazard removal packages and thus clear out the barbed wire in the center. Grenadiers here already suffering one loss to the conscripts, though, although the conscripts are beginning to suffer quickly. Grenadiers advancing, and clearly the conscripts have been focusing down the more wounded Grenadier squad, doing so nicely. But the conscripts are quickly suffering. Down to 3 men, and there we go, run off. They did some damage to the fascists, though. Glory to Comrade Stalin. Munitions there being taken. IronRoman sneaking in. And there we go. Conscript squad coming out of fight from the Grenadiers. Although they are again having a bit of trouble with all this barbed wire. And conscript sneaking up north. Conscript sneaking south. 3 conscript squads. And we also note here, flamethrowers equipped for the companies. And apparently one of them went, what the fuck? Apparently I was clicking too much on them. Oh dear. But a support weapon company, and quick. He's actually quick to get the heavy machine gun out to support his troops, and I suspect it will actually be in this area again, combining the barbed wire field with the heavy machine gun to really make it difficult for the fascists to advance, and probably cutting down numerous, although we also do see a heavy machine gun has arrived for IronRoman and the 10th Panzer Division. Minor fighting up north here. conscripts holding back the Grenadiers, since there's very little cover here for the Grenadiers to hold up in, and of course the conscripts could also make a run for this hut, although not so many windows here, so not quite much as a threat. And IronRoman to wire off, trying to wire off again. He loves his barbed wire, being pushed off there by the combat engineers, and again note here, lots of wire work, but also note here, a gap. So again, I can't help but feel this is actually a bit of wasted effort by IronRoman. I understand the idea, but again, he might be trying to apply some Company Heroes 1 tactics, which aren't quite as applicable in this second game, because again, it's not quite something that's so easily gap off, cover off. Pioneers retreating there as well. Grenadiers and MG holding up the center. And again, conscripts sneaking about the lines of the 10th Panzer Division, causing harm to the fascist Hitlerites. And also quickly note here, IronRoman actually pretty quickly sets up a bunker, going to upgrade that one to a medic bunker, and thus allowing some healing for his troops, which will definitely also pay off. And there we go, actually note, several Maxim machine guns, World War I more or less standard before that, because it's based on the world's sort of first proper machine gun, the Maxim, and of course that's also what this one is called, just a slightly newer version of it. So setting up to cover here, and again note, again combination with the barbed wire, it can actually do a lot to really ruin the day for Fritz. Conscripts advancing and straight into the MG42, getting suppressed. And there we go. Also note the advantage of the Maxim is they can much quicker pack up and move ahead and also set up. So in this case, while the MG is actually firing away, the Maxim opens up on the MG42 crew. And in this case, actually note the MG actually ends up taking quite a bit of damage, and he can't quite see the MG either. Again, machine guns still need line of sight. In this case, the conscripts, while pinned, do provide that, and there we go, the MG crew gets a bit pinned as well. And there we go, combat engineers flanking about, and the support crew can't support, and there we go, bursting into flames, the righteous flames of the motherland. Looks like IronRoman will be losing an MG crew. Oh dear. And there we go, the conscripts retreating. A nice counterattack going in from IronRoman there. Fighting up in the north as well. Several combat pioneers, flamethrowers unleashing fire upon the conscripts. Grenadiers pushing in as well. And there we go, conscripts pushed away, but not without cutting off the resources for IronRoman. And an MG42 ripe for the picking, and there we go. Combat engineers is quickly on that one. Center securing, and also note here, he's actually setting up because this is an area you can actually cover with an MG. And also again, note, due to the water and of course negative cover, I mean this is pretty much a perfect setup for a Maxim machine gun to basically cover. I mean, any infantry is going to move through here is going to get one hell of a greeting. And in this case, we also see now that IronRoman has added in a mortar. I mean, you'll actually see in 1 versus 1s, it's starting to move towards having some slightly heavier tier 1s, in fact. And in fact, it's actually larger than the ones you had in the first game, which is actually rather interesting. But in this case, I mean, we're seeing now 3 heavy machine guns and a mortar of his own. A 120mm mortar, of course, means he's gone for the Guards motor doctrine, giving access to that one. Guards infantry, marked vehicle. Later on, he can call in the T-34-85 medium tank, and of course, self-repairs for his tanks. Really nasty stuff. Grenadiers finding here. IronRoman, of course, could consider upgrading some of his Grenadiers for the MG42. That could also benefit him on the assault.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
We are seeing the 120mm mortar being wheeled forwards. Rather heavy stuff, the heaviest mortar of the war, I believe. And again, also actually used by the Romanians, the Hungarians, and the Germans. They pretty much just realized, hey Heinz, yeah, this mortar works. Good, let's call it a Granatenwerfer and call it a day. Yeah, let's grab some beer. And that was largely it, although probably a bit more sophisticated, but overall the Germans pretty much realized this was a damn good mortar. But there we go, 120mm mortar firing away at the Germans. They're probably going to counter-mortar the German one, which is actually doing quite nicely against the Bolsheviks. And right there, first shell, I mean, note just the huge amount of smoke also being kicked up by this mortar. Really nasty stuff. So you do have to be a bit careful around it. You don't want to get hit by that. Grenadiers reinforcing, others, and of course getting healed. Combat pioneers moving out. Well, they are combat anyways. And there we go. Another attempt coming up this area, but encountering an MG42. But again, they're out in the open. They're out in the water. And there we go. IronRoman's going to just quickly beat a hasty retreat as they find themselves in a very untenable position. And the MG42 sets up, although I imagine the gunner gets a bit wet feet having to kneel in that. And also note here, he's actually laid down a demo charge on the bridge. Combat engineers can in fact right away in company with 2 lay down demo charges. No upgrades for them. And there we go. Combat pioneers moving in. Conscripts moving in for the MG. MG being pushed away. The mortar continues to blast away. Oh, they actually got counter mortar there by the German mortar. Flames wash over the conscripts. Vasily, Petrov, and Sasha catching on fire. And there we go, light mechanized company going out. We do see some Panzer Grenadiers arriving. The more elite troops of the 10th Panzer. And there we go, he set off the demo charge, blowing up the bridge, getting one of the pioneer squads. Bloody close. And we also see a Panzer Abwehrkanone rolling out now for IronRoman to add into anti-tank fire. He's obviously beginning to worry a bit that his opponent, having had quite a large chunk of the map and quite the advantage for some time, might be getting some armor himself, which is of course a quite sensible worry. IronRoman's force though role is still quite intact, and there we go, we are seeing a sizable infantry force being sent north. Also note here a fuel cache to ensure that IronRoman gets some fuel, but probably also to protect this connection point right here. MG42 watching over this. Conscripts moving in there, and they are likely going to get one hell of a surprise. Panzer Grenadiers equipped with the Panzerschreck. And there we go. Rockets flying. Conscript down. Another man down. And it's actually time to have a look at IronRoman, who has access to Festung armor, Festung support, and Jäger armor. These two being a bit awkward in name. Yes, I think so. But there we go. The Panzer Grenadiers being turned into a tank buster unit. Of course, we could do more Panzer Grenadiers. And there we go. Grenadiers for the MG holding up the southern flank. And just note, the MG is just really nasty to infantry. I mean, I love the LMG-42 in Company 2. It works. It bloody well works. But there we go. 120mm mortar firing away. Getting some more fascists. MG-42 holding up the entire German advance right there. Nicely positioned. Also hard to sneak up on. So, in that case, IronRoman's full advance rather, hit a snag. And there we go. Note the Grenadiers are simply getting shredded here by the 3rd Maxim machine gun, down to 2 men already. Mortar causing quite the water show, but forcing away one lonely Grenadier, leaving the rest of his friends in the water. Nasty stuff, nasty stuff. And there we go, Veterans U1 for the mortar, giving it the counter barrage ability. And we are seeing a scout car on the way for IronRoman to perhaps give himself some additional mobility. And we're actually seeing the Special Rifle Command, and then he's moving straight on to the Tankovi Battalion Command. That's actually a bit more of a curious move from Kromz. And not necessarily what I would call the best move either. I mean, he does risk, of course, again, spending resources towards something, you know, that could have been a bit more useful, again, like, say, a tank initially. So this is a bit more curious, and of course he's getting some guards infantry though, which initially isn't looking like he does, or snipers for that matter, or a scout car, which you could stuff some guards troops in. The scout car looks like to be heading up for a northern route. He might be using it to clear out that MG42. That would definitely be a good one. Mortar towards the MG, likely there, if it can hit. And the conscripts oorahing through the barbed wire. Oor, ow, row. This hurts, comrades. Shut up and move. And there we go. We do see the mortar coming under fire, already having scored a few kills on the MG. More conscripts rushing forwards. Also oorahing through the barbed wire. Must be painful. And there we go. The pack reveals its presence. Grenadiers advancing. And another push towards the north to follow up in the wake of the armored car, now equipped with the auto cannon. Also note here, munitions cache up, giving him more munitions, likely of course upgrades for the infantry, adjust abilities, and a half track actually out for Kromz. That's a nice move. Allows his troops to reinforce. Of course, they can also shoot out of the back. Of course, an American half-track, since the Russians didn't really have any meant for combat usage. Plus, of course, they couldn't simply produce them. He's not fast enough. But there we go. Conscripts holding up. Grenadiers running into a bit of problems. Armoured car forging away the MG42 right there in the north, and there we go. German infantry following up in the wake of the penetration caused by the armoured car. We do see the half-track rushing forwards. He could upgrade it with the anti-aircraft mount, which could of course also be a reason he went for that munitions upgrade. And we see Festung Panzer up for IronRoman. Definitely interesting, of course. He could use it to actually lay down smoke cover with his armoured cars to allow it to escape. I mean, smoke cover for the vehicle is actually an absolutely brilliant ability. I mean, good use of it can mean the difference between a bad engagement and then losing units in a bad engagement. I mean, it basically allows you to lay down the smoke cover and allow a unit to escape, sometimes a rather nasty thing. So I mean, in that sense, I mean, it would be great, but no, not in this case, of course. Probably can't help. Actually, it might have helped because then the troops wouldn't be able to cast a grenade for it, but no. In this case, IronRoman rather failed to use an ability which again could allow his armoured car here to survive, and I do feel that's a bit of a shame. And then we go, we do see the Court 50 caliber mount up there for the anti-aircraft half-track now. Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers bring in from the north. And T-34 mines going down there. And there you go, the half-track moves on immediately up on the Grenadiers. An ungodly amount of firepower being laid down there on the Grenadiers and forcing them to retreat. Looks like the Pioneers there have been forgotten. Half-track advances. Bit of quiet. Troops reinforcing. I smell their fear. Crush them. Lovely combat spirit there, Heinz. It does the Fastland proud. But rather, so far, the Russian players are actually doing quite an alright job in locking down the different avenues of approach. And forcing IronRoman back, using again good usage of the conscripts supported by the Maxim and the mortar. So really a nice combined arms approach so far by Kromz, although again the 120mm mortar, if I can say millimeter, actually, oh dear, direct hit on the mortar crew, leaving behind only one man. And note here in Company 2, they don't just mystically die from lupus or some other disease, they just run away, completely losing all faculties and running away in sheer terror, never to return. We do see a CIS-3 field gun. I believe CIS actually means made in Stalin's factory or some other honorific like that. There we go, the mortar crew in fact just making a short detour by the Maxim machine gun. But this area getting absolutely blasted. MG42 moving up towards the north. We are seeing more MGs now being equipped for Roman's Grenadiers. And we actually see him going for the heavy Panzer Corps, and we actually see him going for a Panther. So of course the question is, will he actually be able to utilize that against the Bolsheviks? But there we go, field gun moving up. Tied into the other impressive array already there, and conscripts making a rush, I imagine, for the pack. Pack scores a kill. Fire washes over the conscripts. Gaining them veterans who won. That's always nice. And also looks like he actually made off with the German mortar as well. That's definitely going to give IronRoman a headache then, as he's going to advance through numerous mortars then. German infantry waiting up here, and there we go. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Panzer has arrived. Should be good fun. And there we go, adding in the MG42 on top. Pioneers are getting mortared. And looks like IronRoman is actually making a move towards that machine gun there, trying to open up a path in a different frontage. That's a good move, although he might have wanted to move his infantry down there to actually support its advance once the Panther got the MG out of the way, they could quickly move up and ensure the protection of the Panther. Instead, IronRoman seems to be moving in on his own. Conscripts here, though, running on into intense machine gun fire from numerous Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers also providing support, and there we go, Conscripts making one hell of a run for it. In the meanwhile, the Panther advances. MGs tearing through the Conscripts. I mean, 3 MGs is definitely going to cause some damage. You could very well, there we go, retreat caused. There we go, 1 MG gunner down. More going down to the might of the Panzerkampfwagen 5. We do see 1 Grenadier pushed away. We do see another Grenadier squad actually finally moving out from behind the Panther, but I do feel a bit too late. Now the Panther, on the other hand, is a bit on its own, and we do see IronRoman detaching an anti-tank and quickly down there, half-track, and we're seeing Guards infantry also moving up, equipped with light machine guns as well. This could actually be a problem for the Panther, since again it's not going to have the best line of sight already. So in this case, while I definitely think IronRoman is making a bit of a considerable mistake, failing to support his Panthers with infantry. Really nasty stuff, and there we go, coming under fire from the Cis 3. First shot bounces off. And there we go, Guard infantry has arrived. Oh, he's using all of the German weapons in the north. Oh, the irony. Combat pioneers en masse following up there, and there we go, the Panther moving straight in front of the Guards infantry and the anti-tank gun. IronRoman was a bit too slow there, and there we go, buttoning up the vehicle, anti-tank gun and anti-tank rifles for that matter, firing into it. Again, right here, IronRoman could use the smoke discharges to basically block the line of sight of his opponent and allow the Panther to escape. But no, he's actually marking the vehicle. His opponent is marking the vehicle, making it even easier to hit and penetrate it. And, well, just do more damage. Really nasty ability, and also think it's an ability a lot of Soviet players actually fail to use, because again it does make it easier to knock out a tank, but ow. And again, IronRoman failing to use his doctrine to actually protect his Panther. Again, smoke here would have done great. So again, a bit disappointed that IronRoman did not take the chance. Pioneers doing what they can to repair it. Should have been though part of a larger infantry support assault. And there we go, the Panther gets abandoned. That's very bad news if the Soviets actually get to it. The conscripts right here that are burning away. Numerous flamethrowers washing them with death. I do believe it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. The current situation is a bit desperate for IronRoman. South assault just went awry. Center held by the communists. North, he is collapsing there as well as he comes under fire from German MGs and mortars, now held by Russians. Definitely some problems there, and we could in fact see some armor come out any time now from that Tankovi Battalion Command. A T-34-85 in fact being available. A few of those could really cause some serious harm to IronRoman. So IronRoman rather needs to ensure that the opponent doesn't get this Panther. In this case, he might try to recruit and just hope that, well, Bolsheviks knock it out for him. But he also needs to do a bit more better work up here. He needs to make another armored assault. Of course, it's going to cost him a lot of resources again, because he only has the heavy Panzer Corps and not the support Panzer Corps, thus giving him, some lighter vehicles. So in that sense, IronRoman has also put himself in a bit of a bind. But when he does it next time, he needs to properly support with infantry. Again, you can't just send in a Panther unsupported, because when he then encounters a combined arms group, in this case field guns, Guards and other nasty stuff, I mean, it just results in that Panther quickly getting knocked out, in particular because he also failed to use the smoke cover, which again, I do find a bit sad. On the other hand, good usage of the abilities provided him here by Kromz using the marked vehicles and other such things, so great stuff. He basically just, I think, needs to build up some T-34-85s, charge ahead, and he could probably push IronRoman off the field completely. IronRoman, on the other hand, needs to get some vehicles out, he needs to counterattack. Probably try here in the north this time around, since now all of the anti-tank and such are in the south. And this time do it properly, combined arms, have the infantry support the Panzer. But let us return to the fight. Again, troops here getting bogged down. Mortar gets a few more Panzer Grenadiers. And there we go, recruiting the Panther. Guard infantry moving up. Half track, ooh, exhaust damage. More Panzer Grenadiers moving up. Half-track actually went down. Nicely done there by the Panther. It's only real success, I suppose. And, oh, anti-tank rifle hits. A driver slit or something knocks out the Panther. Or maybe it was that anti-tank gun. Either the way, Panzer Grenadiers are now on the field, but they are under heavy fire. The machine guns raining death upon them as well. The guards, and there go. Maxim in the final nail in the coffin. The Grenadiers are simply getting two blasts, but there we go. Bundle grenade, a parting gift. Killing two more Guards, infantrymen for the 5th Guards Tank Corps. Panzer Grenadiers, so might want to consider getting out of there. We do see a grenade from the Guards infantry in return, and 2 Panzer Grenadiers down as well. And veterans one for the Guards. Lovely job. North falling completely. We do see a quick swift counterattack by the Grenadiers, and we do see a large force here from IronRoman, including some Veteran T2 Pioneers, thus making them considerably tougher. The question is, what will IronRoman do with it? And of course, one thing to remember again with Grenadiers, they don't fire on the move, they fire when you stand still. So of course it's about finding the right distance, which is not necessarily very close to the flamethrower. Come on, fire Mr. Grenadier with the MG. And there we go, quickly doing a lot of damage to the combat engineers. Quickly 2 dropped. That glorious weapon of the Third Reich. And there we go, we're actually seeing a Sturmpanzer IV being sent in to support the 10th Panzer Division. Scout car following up quickly in the wake. So looks like IronRoman is getting ready to storm the enemy. Fun, fun.
Do you need something?
And there we go, another half-track out. And we do also see a T-34-85 up for Kromz. Basically a T-34-76 with a bigger turret overall, which did give a bit more crew inside it as well, thus overall improved performance there, although it was still pretty crowded and cramped. And of course 120mm mortar continues to fire away almost. Veteran 22 T-34-85 rolls ahead. Might want to move a bit further up, and there we go. Opened up on the Panzer Grenadiers. First shot, though, is a miss. And there you go, the Panzers completely get wiped out. By the looks of it, and also note here, IronRoman's actually repairing the bridge, getting ready to advance up through the south. Whoops. In the meanwhile, in the north, the Sturmpanzer IV makes its advance in coordination with the armored car. T-34 quickly moves in, gets the scout car. Oh dear, some infantry drawing away the sight of the Sturmpanzer IV. T-34-85 should probably... Oh, conscripts advancing, quickly get hit and knocked out by the Sturmpanzer and T-34-85 moving up. What is he going to do? He should probably try and flank. No, he's going to ram it. Oh, Kromz, you klutz. Apparently handing the driver a bottle of vodka, making the driver go, "Hey Vasily, look at what I can do," and ramming the Sturmpanzer, but now he has absolutely nothing to deal with the Sturmpanzer, plus his T-35 can't do anything either since it's been immobilized. And of course there are Pioneers on hand to quickly repair it, so in that sense Kromz has rather wasted his own T-34-85 in this case. He's getting another, but he should either have been trying to flank it or been waiting for additional support. That was clearly not the best usage of a T-34-85, I will say. Now, of course, he's trying to rush everything down here up north, which is currently giving a bit of a limited success. He might also wanted to move up the MG42 a bit closer to actually support his T-34-85 against all the infantry. But there we go, Sturmpanzer has been repaired, trying to break through the frontal armor of the T-34-85. Initial luck, not quite so good. But there we go, first shot really does a lot of damage. Encountering some combat Pioneers right there, doing a bit of damage, pushing them away. Panzer is pushing into the center from IronRoman and the 10th Panzer Division. Second T-34-85 is ready. damaged engine. Looks like that. T-34-85 is going to go down. Definitely a shame right there by Kromz. A bit of a waste again of his T-34-85. Did not do a lot of damage overall. And certainly did not do much except temporarily delay the Sturmpanzer IV, and of course serve to give it more experience. So sadly, a waste then. There we got another T-34-85 ready for Kromz.
Yes, comrade.
Of course, a fun fact about the T-34-85, it's actually cheaper than a Panzer IV, but does twice as much damage amongst other things. It has lighter armor, of course. By that stage of the war, the Panzer IV did have thicker armor than a T-34-85. Oh, well, it had a better gun. Better armor, well. Because while there's something to the sloped armor, what a lot of people also tend to forget is the Panzer IV of the later stages also had a better gun due to the high velocity, or at least a gun good enough to penetrate the armor. And there's also something called overmatching, which rather means at a certain extent when there's a difference large enough between the sloped armor, that is in the actual millimeters, not the effect you get from sloping it, and the caliber of the gun, the sort of effect from sloping it actually minimizes. Less talked about, but that actually is an effect. Oh, the MG42 went down, buttoning it down, though we do see the anti-tanker moving up again here. IronRoman could consider using up the smoke to basically get out there, and we do see again another marked vehicle target. And there we go, just enormous amount of damage being done to it. Again, there's something to using this ability, but again, something a lot of people forget. I mean, there's some sort of knock-on effect. And there we go, we do even see Veteran 2 on this anti-tank. And there the Sturmpanzer IV almost wrecked again. A bit of smoke might save it. Smoke. IronRoman. Nebel. And again, he doesn't quite seem to know how to use or even care about it, which is a definite shame. Half-track bombarding the Grenadiers, advancing again through the barbed wire field. MG's firing away. Mortar rounds going down. MG42 recruit, but actually getting cleared up with the German MGs. Anti-tank gun getting washed away with flame. Sturmpanzer IV pulled quite far away. Veterans 1. And the anti-tank gun actually gets cleared out, and the Grenadier squad goes down. Two combined mortar and anti-aircraft gun fire. Nasty that. And we also see an LMG-42 left behind. So much carnage. And that's definitely not really a good move either. I mean, a T-34-85 is not really a defensive weapon. It's an offensive weapon. Use the speed, use the gun to get behind the fascist tanks and knock them out. I mean, this is not going to stop an armored advance. At most, delay it if he rams it. And we already saw what happened if he does that. And we do see a few conscripts on the run for the Sturmpanzer IV. The Sturmpanzer IV just desperately trying to get out of there. And barely succeeds. Very close encounter right there for IronRoman. Had he lost that, that might have actually been it. We do see a second Panzerkampfwagen 5 coming out. Will it have a better chance? We also see both Grenadier squads went down for IronRoman, leaving him behind only with the more elite Panzer Grenadiers. And of course his combat pioneers, again, Veteran 2, if they get to Veteran 3, I mean, they're definitely going to get very nasty. Panzer Grenadier trying to secure the munitions for the fatherland. And equipping both of them with Panzer X, perhaps not the best idea again. IronRoman seems to go a bit overmuch there. Might have won at least one Panzer Grenadier squad, more exclusively focusing on anti-infantry combat. Oh well. Sturmpanzer IV receiving an awful lot of repairs, going to take some time, even with two pioneer squads slaving away. Sturmpanzer IVs were not really handed out to panzer divisions on a more specific basis. They were usually kept on their own small independent battalions and basically handed out wherever needed. And were one of the many variants of the Panzer IV, including of course also the Jagdpanzer IV and the different flak panzers. Looks like IronRoman's getting ready for another push on the centre of the anti-tank, and there's not been recruit. Kromz and the Guards tank corps suffered some losses. Panzer Grenadiers moving in from the north. Nothing to stop there finally. There we go, Sturmpanzer IV almost ready. And there we go. Panzer Grenadiers up north getting blasted. Sis 3 needs to turn about. of course, also great uses there of the half-track to basically repair his frontline troops. So again, you know, great uses of the half-track by Kromz, just not so great usage of his tanks. Guards infantry, and there we go again, marking the target. Or in this case, I think it's Spartaning Axis and LMI. Oh, no, there we go. Do see the aircraft. And again, that's definitely going to give the anti-tank guns an advantage. Although he needs to move them up. Although even the guards infantry is going to get some damage bonuses right there against the Panther. Mortar rounds going in. Panther going to be actually running. Ooh, very dangerous gauntlet, very dangerous gauntlet. Still no smoke cover going in from IronRoman. He really needs to use his first Stone Panzer Doctrine. I mean, he's yet to use a single ability from it, which rather begs the question, why did he then get it in the first place? There they go, Stone Panzer Force supporting the assault. And we do see the Panther almost down to half health already. Although it is quickly getting repaired. Now the Pioneers are getting absolutely murdered by the mortar. Guards infantry needs to get out of there. Mortar moving up, so IronRoman's got himself another mortar. Stone Panzer 4 rolls forwards. 23 kills in the name of the fatherland. And there we go, conscript squad almost wiped out. To man their veterans, the free, get them out of there, Kromz. Get them out of there. And we do see an anti-tank going off there, and the conscript, luckiest conscript alive, escapes both the Storm Panzer 4 and the Panther, and the pack. Getting very close, and we do see the T-35 fight moving out. We can't flank there because the bridge is out, otherwise I would have suggested that. And there we go, advancing straight through the anti-tank gun. Perhaps not the best of ideas. Oh, the Storm Panzer 4, though, does have the best chance with the thicker frontal armor. And overall a bit more tougher. Panther, though, taking the direct fire, taking an awful lot of it. Could go down. There we go, Vest 22 for the anti-tank gun. Increasing damage considerably. Storm Panzer 4, though, is flanking. That's definitely not good either. And there we go, the anti-tank gun gets decrewed. T-35 moves up. And there we go, nice hit on the Panther. One more hit and we could see the Panther go down to the T-35. Panther misses, destroyed engine. The T-35 almost has the Panther. Although nice hit from the Panther again. And there we go, T-35 knocks it out. Again, do not underestimate T-35, but again, don't expect a Panther. On the other hand, again, a few of them can easily knock out a Panther at full health. In this case, it was not quite the case. And also note here, doing a lot of damage now to the Brumba, or Sturm Panzer. The Brumba, I believe, was actually given it to it by Allied intelligence. The actual nickname was the Stupa. Sturm Panzer 4, though, needs to get the bloody hell out of there. And veterancy too. That's the first time I actually seen a Storm Panzer 4 gain veterancy too. And we do again see vehicle mark target. No, that actually gets armored skirts. Oh dear. Panther was recruited and it got the T-35. That was incredibly close. Incredibly close right there. Had it not done that, that Storm Panzer 4 would have gone down to the T-35. Although again, he might have wanted to use it a bit more mobily. You know, he wanted to keep it on the move, tried to flank it instead of remaining in front of it. I mean, the T-35, just like, you know, of Sturm Panzer 4, just like any Stug, of course, is only, you know, useful when the target's in the front. If the target flanks, and the T-35 is reasonably good at that, of course, it becomes a lot less useful. Had he tried that, he might actually been able to get it without suffering so much damage, and of course the Panther might not have that much of a chance either. So in that case, that was definitely a wasted chance, I think, by Kromz again to really do some damage and knock out the Panzers. I mean, again, he does seem to think that what he's got there is a Panther, and I'd also see some other people seem to think that. Again, the T-35 is not a Panther, it's not a Panther killer, it's a Soviet T-34 with a bigger gun. Use it like that. That means, of course, numbers, but also flanking, of course, you know, just an easy job at knocking out fascist tanks. But there we go, the Sturm Panzer 4 armored up even further. 41 kills. Panther not looking too good either. Mortar rounds going down. And barely anything left for Kromz. I mean, he's been absolutely shredded up. And again, that Sturm Panzer 4 has just proven itself to be very nasty. And we do see the Sturm Panzer 4 getting blasted. Guards infantry moving up. Likely going to try and get that Panther. There we go, Panther down, although they might have wanted to do it with the Sturmpanzer 4, which can actually kill them. And we do see that Kromz is actually getting desperate. He wants those 50 points down, but he's actually, again, doing that mistake which some players do when they're so close to victory. They begin taking unnecessary risks because, again, even with that many victory points, he just wants it over quickly and swiftly, which means, again, he ends up making a lot of mistakes and taking a lot of unnecessary losses. Another T-3045 rolling out. Guards infantry right here, they're getting absolutely slaughtered by that Sturmpanzer 4. Mortar doing what they can. Veterans are free, by the way. Veterans are free. But in this case, not enough. The Panzer Grenadiers continue to fight away. Panzerschrecks and Sturmgewehr. Or in this case, just a... Oh. Bund grenade saw to that. T-3045 moving up. Encountering straight into the Panzerschrecks. Again, the slightly more wasteful tactics by the end, not really helping Kromz. He's going for that. Sturmpanzer, and he's ramming it. He's ramming it. He wants to get it, but again, he ends up wasting a T-3045. And we just see IronRoman pushing forward a huge wave of pioneers to get his precious Sturmpanzer back on the field. I mean, that thing is almost an ace. I mean, if it gets veterans, you feel that thing's going to be the terror of Stalin. And there we go, Panzer Grenadiers on the run. Some nasty veterans with 3 conscripts. And a lot of equipment all over the place. Maxims, light machine guns, and other things. In this case, the Panzer Grenadiers seem to have picked that one up. Would certainly increase the firepower considerably. But there we go. A swift counter-attack, and just a lot of pioneers quickly seeing his Sturmpanzer 4 back on the field. And again, Kromz, having sadly at this stage pretty much crippled himself again. Not quite the best usage of the T-34-85, and again, some wasted infantry here and there. And perhaps also lack of anti-tank guns. But otherwise, I mean, he had great uses of his ability. Just when it came to the T-34-85, he just seemed to fall apart. He didn't quite seem to know how to use it. Again, would ram it in times where it didn't really seem to be sensible to ram it. And otherwise, just let it stood there taking the damage again. That was perhaps not the best move either. But we do see another one rolling out. I mean, a lot of people do seem to think it's a rubbish tank, but it's a good one. Again, it does a lot of damage and can really knock out fascist panzers at a price much lower than them. But again, it suffers from the same fault that the first T-34 does, which again, it's not very durable, which again means you figure out, well, how do I overcome that lack of durability? You move it, use speed, and you use numbers, because again, it's also cheaper than even a Panzer IV. But again, the problem is that some people do seem to think it's basically a somehow tiny Panther, which it is not. Also note here, railway artillery support, calling in the biggest railway gun almost in existence. In the Second World War, can really do a lot of damage if it actually hits anything. And there we go, Sturmpanzer foremost again, gets the MG crew right there. And another reference to the scratching of paint. Oh, lovely. Guards infantry moving forwards. Will the T-34-85 this time around actually flank? Will we be seeing a marked target going on here? So that is really the thing that really helps. And we do see a third Panther out. I mean, note, he's lost 3 Panthers. Or 2 Panthers, but only 1 Sturmpanzer. But yet, lost to Sturmpanzer 4. So, I mean, again, while a lot of people do seem to be worried about the Panther, I mean, it's not, you know, the end of all things if you don't know how to use it. Or for that matter, you know to use it, but your opponent knows how to counter it. Pioneers running into a problem, even equipped with a Russian anti-tank rifle again, and countering now a Panther and the Sturmpanzer 4, and the Sturmpanzer 4 just wrecks it. Again, T-34-85s works in numbers, not so great on their own. In that sense, they're the Volksgrenadiers of tanks. They work best when supported by other things, not on their own. Panthers advance, getting blasted with everything. The Russians can still muster. Some combat engineers have picked up an anti-tank rifle, and the conscripts get crushed under the Panther. Sturmpanzer 4 fires off another volley. Panther might get disabled. There we go. it's actually time to return back to Kromz, who's got at least one marked vehicle left. So of course you can get the anti-tank gun forwards. Looks like the combat engineers went... Nope, they retreated back for reinforcement by the half-track. Nicely doing again. Good usage of the half-track, really solid. And again, the great thing about half-tracks in Company of UH2 is that they don't cost that much. Mortar now getting blasted by the Sturmpanzer IV, finding a bit of vengeance for all those rounds launched.
Ready for action. Watch out for that tank. You have orders?
Heavy machine gun closer, getting knocked out. And there we go, anti-tanker gets off a hit. Then we have trouble penetrating that armor. Again, marked target might help here. Marked target should not be underestimated, as this match hopefully has shown to you. But there we go, Panzer is leading the advance. Half-track lending its 50 caliber machine gun. And there we go, half-track down.
We are suffering vehicle losses.
And looks like this anti-tank gun is going to go down. Panzergun is flying away with the MG Sturmgewehr und Panzerschreck. And there we go, the anti-tank gun crew is gone. Well, the field gun crew, technically. Oh, they lost the MG42. That's not really going to do much at this stage anyways. 65 kills in the Sturmpanzer IV. Definitely a killer. Panzergun is fighting away here. And there we go, finally getting the entire Veterans III conscript squad. More tanks, more guns, infantry being pushed forwards, but it may be too late. And there we go. Game over. A very close fight. I mean, several times Kromz was close to it, but basically his problems with understanding the T-34-85 run, I think, cost him the match. Again, he rammed them at times when he really shouldn't be ramming them. He should probably also try to actually build up a force of them and then rushed in and probably done more damage that way. I mean, even when he did get the Panther right down here, he then proceeded to just let Sturmpanzer IV firing away at it again, so it was a bit of a problem in dealing with the Sturmpanzer. At the same time, of course, we saw great usage of the Sturmpanzer IV by IronRoman. We also see him, trying to break up some front, in fact, forcing one of the T-35s down there in case he actually attacked again, so that sense was also a nice move. He has struggled a bit in the beginning, but of course came back. The first Panther and Archer again easily and nicely countered, using again the marked vehicle ability. Again, try to use it if you're playing the Russians. I mean, it's really something you have an ability you should use in combination with the rest of the doctrine, because again, it really means you can quickly single out the fascist tanks and knock them out rather more swiftly than you otherwise normally would be. So that is something to remember, amongst other things. But also, of course, I mean, I really would like to point out to IronRoman that he probably should try and use that smoke ability. Probably would have saved him. His first Panther might also save some of his scout cars instead of just seeing them go up and smoke so quickly. But overall, pretty good fights and pretty good action here, there, everywhere. And again, an absolutely beast of a Sturmpanzer, killing 70 Russians, 4 vehicles and 66 infantry killed by the might of its 150mm howitzer. So nasty stuff there. Also again nicely played by the Russian, but again his failure in the T-35 pretty much lost him the game, I think. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe to your friends? If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.